Yo, yo, yo. What is up, artists and art fans? Thank you guys for tuning into the spot where we talk to all your favorite Instagram artists about the trade, the tools, and of course, tips, y'all, right? We all need the tips. From novice all the way to professionals, right? We're still learning every day. Well, welcome to Chatting with Zim, y'all, and I am your host, Zim Zimma, the realist of the real. That's right. We got con artist graphic design in here. Shout out to him for being the first in the room. Make sure you guys are checking out the Drawn Con Show. Drawn Con Show. Yeah, that's what it was. The Drawn Con Show. Him and Jason Drawn doing it, man. Doing it big. They're getting out there. So make sure you guys are checking them out. Make sure you check out Dead and Laughing. That's the squad over at the Monsters Art Clan, as well as Live with Seven. And of course, yours truly, right? Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing on the YouTubes. Everything has been updated, all the archives, so please go check it out. And if you haven't subscribed, just click on that subscribe button, right? Today's guest comes all the way from East Texas. You guys probably seen him first on the Drawn Con Show, along with Jace Drawn, and of course our friend Trent, con artist graphic design there. My man, great to see you, brother, as well. So you guys know him. C.K. Williams Art is in the building, of course. That's Casey Keith Williams. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's get the guest of honor, right? Teach me, says Halo Halo. What is up with everybody else? Thank you guys for joining. I see Blackjack Davy in here. What up, what up? Of course, the Halo Halo, Black Anime Art, what is up? And Mary, what's going on? What part of East Texas? Well, let's find out. Let's get our guest on. Beam him up into the mothership. How's everybody's weekend? How's everybody's week? Everybody working on right now. I got some cool stuff in the works. If any of you guys know who the Wildcats are from back in the 90s, that's the whole Jim Lee thing. There is a female in there called Z-Lot. So I'm working on some almost done with her, really. Some digital art there. There it is. There it is. Woo! Wildcats, baby. Yeah, that's... Forgot to post her line work, but it's almost done then. I'll probably be done with that during either tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. And then it's on to some good parts, some other stuff. Just one announce, I think as of now. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. But if anybody's from Illinois, in Aurora, August 28th, we got the Alley Art Festival going on from 12 to 5 p.m. I will be there indoors. That's gonna be my first show. So that's gonna be cool. I'm hoping for the best. Dizzy is gonna be there. Desalasi. She is part of Monsters Art Clan as well. She is along with Halo Halo. We are pretty much the Midwest chapter of Monsters Art Clan. So yeah, man, that sounds exciting. If any of you guys are from Illinois, then definitely go and visit. Visit yours truly. Yeah, you're gonna meet Zim in real life. Damn, it's gonna be badass. The only bad thing is I know Dizzy's gonna be outside and I'm going inside. I'm gonna be inside. I don't know how the weather's gonna be, but I gotta, prep for the best, I guess. And what is up with our guests? Casey, let me go ahead and invite you once again, brother. Delanuse is in the building. Make sure you guys go follow Delanuse as well. We just rocked this badass Double Dragons piece collaboration that we did. So, yeah, man, go make sure you check them out. And without any further ado, let's get Mr. CK in the house here. Episode 110. There he is. There he.
Sorry, man.
Stranger.
I thought this was only. I got confused about which one I was doing.
Stranger danger. What is up, man? How you doing, Casey?
Doing good, man. How's everybody doing?
Man, everybody is good so far, man. Can't complain. Had a good morning. Chilled with a friend. Went to go play some some card games. So yeah, that was pretty fun. And we saw a glimpse of the bear, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. He every now and then.
we're definitely
But
gonna
but
have
what
to talk about that.
he makes appearances at places.
That is up. So what's up, man? How you doing today, Casey?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I am doing better now, man. I'm looking forward to the spending some time here with you, man. Chatting it up a little bit, seeing what we could find out, man. I love doing these shows. We always go a little bit deeper into the artist and just learn more about you, man, and what you got, what you got going on.
Well, since I figured out this isn't going to be my OnlyFans broadcast, let me go ahead and turn some regular lights on real quick. I'll be right back.
There you guys go. You guys got a glimpse at the CK's OnlyFans right there. No, that's what's up. And thank you guys for joining today. We got CK Williams Art. Make sure you guys find him here on the gram as well as ckwilliamsart.com. Just add the .com behind his name. And you guys could go ahead and definitely step into that little site there. Has amazing work if you guys haven't seen it lately. But yes, yes, yes. Hey, what up, Pez? How you doing, brother? And of course, guys, before we get started really quick, just want to let you guys know that if you guys have any questions, please use the question bubble down below. That way we could share with everybody else. Oh, man, and it looks like he's been knocked out.
Now I'm back.
Ryan, you're back. You are not on my screen, though, but that is weird.
The internet around here, man's acting crazy right now.
Oh, I got it, man. Well, I'm able
Did
to
the
hear
image come
you.
back yet?
I can't visually see you. Does anybody have a visual on him? If you do, let's get it going. So, all right. So they're saying they see you. I can't, but let's keep it going. Yeah, man.
There's a new twist.
It's freaking weird, man. But I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll definitely take it. And Casey, first off, man, thanks again for coming into the show, my friend. Like every new artist that I have on, we always talk about your origins, man. What got you into arts, into the arts, being a creative and stuff. Um, so please, if you can, man, let us know a little bit about you, man.
Sure, man. I've always drawn pictures since I was a little kid, Um, I wasn't really active in sports too much, but I could draw really good pictures of people playing sports. So I tried to impress people and make friends. I moved around a lot when I was a kid. I probably went to 30 different schools growing up. We moved a lot. My
Holy cow.
folks were in construction work, and we moved wherever the building was going on, and being born in the mid 70s, there was a big boom here for construction in the 80s in certain areas, and we moved up to East Texas from Houston. But then, right in the mid 80s to the late 80s, everything in the economy dropped off around here. So we moved back down to Houston again. And so I got moved around, man, my whole life. I was always the new kid at school
Mhm.
every year at a new school. And the easiest way for me to make friends with people was to start drawing pictures and showing off what I could do. You know what I mean? So it just kind of opened doors for conversation with people. And it's always been that for me, really, I guess. Artwork has always opened doors for me, so to speak. I've always been willing to share my art with people, meaning giving a lot of shit away instead of getting paid for it,
Right, right.
But I've always found that you never do it for nothing.
Mhm.
It comes back to you. No matter how many times you give or donate to something, you get it back in the long run, you know. But so I don't know, man. I've always used my artwork to help me socially
Mhm.
talk with people and stuff. I wouldn't say I'm shy because once you get me going, I won't shut the fuck up. But 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 you know, um, I don't know, man. I'm kind of getting off track. I'm sort of scatterbrained right now. I got thrown off. I spent a whole hour prepping for this show, and then my internet took a shit on me.
Yeah,
Right as we
yeah.
were getting ready to get started, and it's still giving me hell. So
No, I mean, on my personal screen, I can't see. All I see is myself. But on my desktop, I definitely got you on there. So I'm seeing you. So we're good, man. And
okay.
yeah, as far as the questions go, I mean, we'll keep them coming. Right now we got Black Anime Art Shada. He's asking, what part of East Texas are you from?
I am 1 hour south of Dallas. I live near Cedar Creek Lake in a little bitty town called Malakoff, Texas.
Malakoff, Texas. There you go. For all you Texans out there, then definitely make sure you guys go. Don't go stalking now. We don't want none of that. But
The south
mhm.
end of the Cedar Creek Lake is one of the last ones to develop. Um, the lake is pretty much full all the way around, except for our end of the lake down here. It's pretty much brand new that it's filling in our
Mhm.
area. So things are starting to boom around here. We're getting a lot of people moving down this way from the DFW area, and you know, there's a lot of people moving to Texas from all over the place right now. We've got a population surge happening right
Holy
now,
crap.
so things are changing in my little East Texas town, man. We have one red light in our town.
No
All
way,
right,
dude.
I moved here. Yeah, I moved here from Houston. You know, which you're near Chicago, so you
Mhm.
know about the big city life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I moved up here 25 years ago, and all my friends down there in Houston are like, "Well, how do you like it up there in the sticks?" I said, "I've got one red light, motherfucker. One red light. If I get stuck behind a tractor on the way to town, that's the
Oh,
worst traffic I see. You
oh,
know, I
damn.
got one red light." But things are starting to change around here now, man, because everybody's starting to move here, and hell, my wife and I, we went up to town to eat the other day, and there's a freaking McLaren pulling out of the gas station.
Oh,
I'm like,
whoa.
okay, you don't see those every day around here.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
man. Holy shit.
Yeah. So the money's starting to move in around here, and that's cool.
Dope, dope.
Um,
Well, there you go, Black Anime Art, man. He says he's heard of Cedar Creek, so that's pretty dope.
that's cool.
And back to your origins, man. I mean, what was the inspiration to get you motivated or start drawing? What do you think it was? What do you recall, man?
Ah, shoot, man, lots of things. You know, when I was a kid, Bill Cosby wasn't a creep yet that we knew of. And I can remember watching him draw on his show, you know, with
Mm,
Fat Albert and stuff, you know, he would
mhm.
draw and stuff, and it was pretty kick ass. You know, you would sit there and watch him draw things out, and that was pretty cool. There were a lot of shows back in the day, you know, that inspired kids to draw. Um, I don't know, man. I
No,
had an uncle who drew a picture one time that I can remember when I was a real young kid, and I was really impressed. Didn't know that he could draw, and was like mind blown at what he'd just created in front of me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, I, I always drew things in black and white. I sketched things out in pencil. I used to take the little fine point felt tip pens and come back and draw back over all my lines in ink and make black and white ink. drawings. And I used to draw really trippy, crazy shit. Of course, what teenager doesn't, right?
Right, right.
But it wasn't until I went to the Art Institute of Houston when I was 20 years old. I was coming out of my first mistake of a marriage. Uh, Married when I was 19 years old. No kids involved in that. Just dumb teenagers who thought they were grown up and were ready to get out in the world. And so
Yeah, man.
that lasted about 11 months. And when that split off, I decided I was going to actually go to the Art Institute and try to do the art thing for a career. And back in the day, I don't know how it is now, but back in the day, they rented out a large section of apartments, and they actually used this apartment complex for their student housing, and they would put 3 or 4 people per apartment in 3-bedroom apartments, of course. And so I had 2 roommates from Mexico who taught me how to see things in color and actually paint. I'd never picked up a paintbrush before that. I didn't even like how I colored in a coloring book. I really didn't like color one bit before all. But these guys, they taught me how to see things and break things down and which colors you would want to mix to make what, how you would take your areas of color and add a little black to your color to shade and darken areas for shadows, and how you would add a touch of white to that same color to do the brighter areas, with some shine. And once they explained it to me, man, it was like a light went off. You saw the Pulp Fiction pictures that I just shared the other day.
Did I?
That Uma Thurman picture is a second version of my original. That is one of only 2 pictures in my lifetime that I've redone a second version of. One that I've done 2 versions of was a Scarface picture that I did a long time ago, and the original got lost in a house fire, so I redid it.
Oh.
The second one there was the Pulp Fiction picture. Yes, that one right there with Uma Thurman, the first one. My original picture of that was pretty much everything that you see there except for the lamp. She was just laying on a bed by herself on the original picture. And it was actually the second thing I'd ever done in color.
Wow.
Like I said, it was just like a light bulb went off, and it all made sense to me, and I just started laying in color on things. And I never turned back, man. Ever since then, I've done things in color. I haven't really. I will do black and white paintings sometimes. I'd like to mix it up. My wife really likes my black and white stuff. She tries to get me to do more of them than I actually do because she likes the way they look when I do the black and white stuff. And to me, there's a freedom in the black and whites, man. I can just fly right through something in black and white because I'm not sitting there beating myself up about whether I've got the flesh tones the right color or not.
Oh, okay.
With just a grayscale, you can just rock and roll and just go straight on through it, So, you'll have to help me with questions and keeping me focused because I get off track. I'm really bad about talking about one thing and then heading off another direction.
No, and I'm really good at trying to bring it back on track. No, no, but that's pretty interesting, man. I mean, talking about the Art Institute and stuff like that, at 20 years old. Now knowing what you know now, being a bit older, do you think schooling is a necessity for artists?
Well, I know we had kind of discussed this one night. I believe it was Father's Day when I came on here and talked with you the first time. And the thing is yes, schooling is very important, but they told me straight up that they were not going to teach me how to paint or draw when I
Hmm.
went there. That they would only advise you on what things that you do because they didn't want to change your influence. They didn't want to change your style. They want everybody to be unique in their own. They can't teach people how to do what they do. Otherwise, you're going to be making clones. You know what I'm saying? In the art
Hmm.
world, there won't be any variety left if one person taught everybody how to do what they're going to do. So, schooling is important, but it's still up to you to throw it down and create your own style, you know? Um, and that also kind of goes with something else that I've been, talking about with people. It doesn't matter if I tell you how to do something. Each individual's hand is going to show in their work.
Hmm.
You know, even
For
if I
sure.
sketched out the same picture for four different people to sit down and paint from, you're going to get four different pictures. They're not going to be the same.
True.
Even if you try to paint the same picture a second time, it's not going to be the same ever. You know,
Correct.
it's always going to be something unique and different. So, uh, schooling is important, but nothing was more important than experience of just sitting down and doing. You know,
Mm, word.
I actually did not finish my education at the Art Institute. I screwed that up a lot, like I did a lot of other things when I was young, and decided partying was more important. So
Hey,
I
hey. I don't blame you.
I got scooped up and brought back home, and was supposed to take a little time to straighten out my life and maybe go back and finish,
Hmm.
and instead I stayed here and took up the family carpenter business, doing cabinets and stuff, and did that for 30 years, and did artwork on the side. Now I kept painting, I kept drawing all the time.
Okay.
Um, I would work all day at the cabinet shop and then come home at night and sit down and draw something out and sit there and paint on it, get excited about it, and I would sit there all night long and then come into work the next day dead tired because I stayed up all night painting. And in the beginning, I was just giving pictures away to people just because they liked it.
Hmm.
Um, and still to this day, I'm proud every time somebody wants to hang a picture of mine on the wall. That's never going to change.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That's
I
always a
still
great feeling.
donate a lot of artwork. I've got a soft heart, man. I've always been a giving person. So um, I have trouble. I have trouble sticking to my guns on pricing my artwork. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
sure. No,
I don't
that.
know. I've always just sort of, if I can make as much money painting pictures as I do working in a cabinet shop doing carpenter work, I'm good with that. You know, I would love it if I was one of those people that gets thousands of dollars to paint a
Oh
picture,
man, dude,
but I'm not.
I
I'm
think
not. I'm a
I,
guy who negotiates my price with people and just tries to work out what's fair for both of us. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. I think right there that's something everybody joining us, wants. We all want to be that person to go ahead and just sell, 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 right? And I can't remember who I was talking about it, but I was letting them know that there's um things that are never taught for an artist besides the art, such as, promoting yourself and marketing yourself. That is a totally different aspect that needs to be brought into the whole drawing arena, if you want to take it to the next level and sell your work. If you just want to be a
Right.
hobbyist, and by all means, do you, boo, as we say here in Chicago, right? But
Yeah.
I think that marketing is something that my eyes opened up to this year, when it comes to being an artist.
Yeah. I had to. I had to scramble like hell just to get back here for the show today because we actually drove our daughter up to visit her grandmother. So I actually drove all the way to Oklahoma and back today.
Oh
So
shit.
I was,
Damn. Well, thank
hell,
you.
I was about a third of the way to Chicago. I thought about just driving on up, but
Might as well. You should have done it, man. Just give me a heads up, and we could have done that. That would have been cool.
yeah, my wife and I, we love Shameless, so it would have been cool to hang with
Ah,
you and Frank. You know.
yeah. There you go. You know what? And I don't like doing none of this stuff, but my brother-in-law, uh, he is friends with a guy who's friends with all them people from Shameless.
No shit, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, yeah. They always have these crazy parties at the mansion, and he's always getting invited. I'm not, because I don't hang around with that. My party phase is all done. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm like, ah, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Uh, now as an artist, Casey, what motivates you, man? What gets you going? Your juices flowing, man.
Um, a really killer band, an awesome song.
Oh,
Um, my favorite scenes from movies.
yeah.
That's my whole life, man. If I was painting something for fun, I call it. That's not a commission. If I'm painting something for fun, it's usually a musician or a scene from a movie or something like that.
Hmm.
Back in the day, I used to sit around and say I was going to paint a picture of Jonathan Davis from Korn or something. Well, I would sit and put on a Korn CDs and listen to their music the whole time while I was sitting there working on it. Or you see a new movie and it's so kick-ass or something that you feel like you want to go home and paint your favorite scene from the movie or whatever. That's just been me my whole life. I've always been inspired by others, and others in the arts, music and video and everything else. So,
For sure. Mary Maphis says, corn, hell yeah.
right? My wife and I actually went and saw them a couple of years ago, and they still got it, man. They still kick ass.
Oh, dang, hell yeah, dude. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, there you go. Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men, that one right up there. I actually did that one shortly after seeing the movie. So that picture is several years old. That was done, I believe, in '08, maybe.
Dang.
And when someone's just creepy and weird and does a role that like leaves you uncomfortable, they've done a really good job at acting, and it inspires me to like try to capture that.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. This is awesome, amazing art, man. What got you into doing the style that you do, man?
Shoot, I don't know, man. I try to change it up and mix it up a little, but sometimes I'll try to be hardcore realistic with stuff, and other times I try to be a little loose and artsy with things.
Yeah.
Um, in my earlier days, I used to like to do the monochromatic, where it's just one color, all shades of purple or all shades of red or whatever.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's pretty much like doing something in black and white, but you're just going to grab blue instead of black and take off with all the shades of blue or whatever. That stuff's a lot like the black and whites. It's less stressful to sit and do something that way than it is
Hmm.
to try to do something in exact colors and try to match things. I used to draw just crazy random shit out of my head when I was in high school and in my early 20s, like when I went to the Art Institute. But I kind of got away from all of that because they were real hardcore when getting into visual communications and commercial art and production art and all that kind of stuff when I was young. Man, they blew my mind. I'll be straight up honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
They totally mind fucked me.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
had to start over with everything that I thought was what. Because they told me that you, the best you could do out of your head was not going to be good enough. They insisted that you worked from a photographic reference to do your
Mm.
artwork because when it came to the customers in the commercial art field, they want it perfect, dead on perfect, right?
Okay.
And so, and this was back then, and I had to tell you this last time we spoke at Father's Day that anything you hear me talk about with school education and the Art Institute, this is 27 years ago
Yeah.
information. This
Yeah.
is all outdated now. You know, whenever I went there, I had never painted in color, never picked up a paintbrush. I get introduced to it, I start doing it, and the minute I'm starting to almost figure some things out, they're like, okay, now we're going to get you to do this with a mouse. There were no tablets and all that shit back then. It was all computer programs and everything on a computer. And dude, I hated it. I
Oh,
freaking hated
dude.
it. I didn't enjoy it. They took something that was my fun passion and they turned it into a really shitty, stressful job. And I didn't like it anymore. I even found myself talking to the people that were in the music and video business program at the Art Institute. They were getting to play with a thing called the toaster, which
What?
was, it was called the toaster, but what it was, and I never even really got to see it or mess with it, but it was the earliest CGI stuff, the
Oh,
computer
wow.
animation.
Wow.
And they were getting to use it a lot over there in the music and video business program. And they were doing all this cool stuff. And I was like, man, I was really more interested in that. And plus, the musicians always had more fun.
No,
So
yeah. No, I do
I
totally
was
get
sitting there
that.
trying to maybe even switch programs out of art and into the music and video business program. But anyway, like I say, I ended up leaving there and coming back here. And I just pretty much went on my own. From what I'd learned, I took everything I'd learned there and applied it to what I was doing here. And I just kept going with it, kept practicing with it. And, you know, over the years, you could see the progression of things getting better. Um, and then there's sometimes when I look back on some of my pictures from several years ago and I'm like, wow, I was fucking kicking ass then, you know, that. And so sometimes, man, and I swear to God, I've been doing this for a long time. Like I say, almost 30 years now. If I take a break from drawing or painting or whatever, for even any amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll sit down and feel like I'm learning for the first time all over again. Like,
Mm.
I don't know what it is. I'll sit there. Sometimes things just flow right off the brush. You lay the colors down right the first time and you just go
Mm-hmm.
right through a piece. Sometimes it feels like I do shit totally backwards and I sit and fight it for 2 days until I walk away from it and come back and look at it and be like, all right, I'm just going to start now fresh and I'm going to go back to my picture and I'm going to work one little thing at a time. And then all of a sudden things will start working like they were supposed to have been before. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's got its days, man. I wish I could say it was easy every time, but it's not. It's still a challenge. You know,
Yeah.
it's still a challenge every
Jeff
time.
Jeff Garcia says
I,
that breaks are good to gain perspective.
they are actually, yes, because like this, if I sit here in this room and I'm looking over at my artboard every now and then at a picture that's over here I'm working on, so if you see me staring off into the distance, it's, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, like if I'm sitting here working on something for hours and hours, same as my not being able to keep track with a conversation. Sometimes I can't keep track on my picture. I can't stay focused on something. I move around too much. I sit and maybe try to jump ahead too many steps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll get up and walk out of the room, stay gone for about 20 minutes or so, come back in and look at it, and you'll see something. You're like, well, why was I fighting that? You know what I'm saying? I should, this shadow should have been over more, and this and that and that. It's like you can see things when you step away from them for a little while that you weren't seeing while you were sitting in front of it for hours. I've walked out of the room and came back in and looked at a picture and go, Jesus Christ, that guy's head's way too fucking big. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that, you know? Another thing, you know, when you're working on something, and I guess this is for people that do things in color or whatever, everything looks ugly as fuck for at least 2 or 3 colors or 2 or 3 shades of color. I always say don't ever sit and beat yourself up about how anything looks until you're 2 or 3 shades of color into it. Then you can actually start to see things taking shape. And when I have people sitting here watching me work, they'll be sitting there going, wow, dude, that looks like total shit. I thought he was really good. But then you're like, no, hang on. You know, we got to get it a couple of stages in, and then you're going to see what it really looks like, you know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
no, I totally agree with you, man. There's been times where I just go at it, right, with markers, and I won't draw any lines or any sketches. I'll just go in it with markers, and it looks like shit, man. You got colors everywhere. And I tell them, man,
right,
trust that process. You know what I mean?
right,
Let it get together. Let's get our colors, our shadows, and our values in there. And oof, before you know it, it's like, oh, okay. I didn't trust you at the beginning, but we
right.
see where it's going.
Like whenever I paint pictures of people, see, I do a lot of commission work. I do a lot of portraits. Um, I seem to paint a lot of memorial pictures for people. When it comes to commission work, I probably do more memorial pictures of someone, a lost loved one, or a lost pet even,
Mm.
than I do anything else on commissions. Whenever I'm painting people, I will actually paint all of the flesh tone areas first. I don't know why, I've just always done it that way.
Mm.
I feel like everything else in the picture can just be whatever, but the person themselves has to be dead on right. So I would always lay down all of my flesh tone areas, usually starting with the lightest color. And as far as materials and supplies, man, this is how basic of a motherfucker I am right here. I got a dinner plate and a coffee cup. Okay.
Okay.
I do all my paint color and mixing on a dinner plate. The paint stays wet for a long time on a plate like that. You got room to work with on mixing your colors. As far as art supplies, man, cheap acrylic paint. I don't spend a lot of money on supplies. I never have. I've always used this cheap acrylic paint that you can get at Walmart or any other discount store. It's just that simple. I've always done things in acrylic. I've never messed with oil. Hell yeah. I've never messed with oil paint. Mainly, I had, people tell me back in the day that oil stayed wet forever. Like it would stay wet for a long time. You're having to wait on it to dry and all
Mm-hmm.
that. So I never really messed with it. I've always had too many kids or pets or whatever that could knock shit over. Back in the day, I didn't even have an art studio like I have now, a little building next to my house that's just for that. Back in the day, I was sitting at the dining room table in the
Oh,
kitchen, painting pictures on a little bitty fold-out easel. And that was my life for years. In fact, it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I moved here and actually had a full-on building that was just for my artwork. So I always worked in acrylic because it dried really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that because there was no slowdown to it. If I was working on something, I could do an area over here, move to something over here for a minute, and by the time I go back over, the other part's already dry and I can keep going. So
Jeff Garcia he's saying don't give away the secrets, bro.
yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. It's not about the supplies or the materials. It's about those hands, man. You
Yeah.
know, we
Yes.
can give
Exactly.
we can give all this stuff to anybody, but it doesn't
Exactly.
mean that they can go out and do what you've spent years developing. And that's
Exactly.
all it comes down to. You know, I believe that anybody out there can do this. I believe that anybody out there can do anything that they set their mind to. It's just what are you passionate enough about to spend all of your free time practicing to get to be the best at it or the best you can be, you know?
And,
So,
and I want to elaborate on that, what you said, because I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer that the artist makes the tools, not the other way around. Um,
right,
and what I mean by that, I mean, take a look at this. I think 2018 or 2019, I did the entire year trying to learn watercolor, right? So go down to your local Walgreens, $3 for a palette of 8 colors. And it's got
right.
one of my best pieces here, but it's you got Goliath, man. And
And you know what? I'm glad that you held those up and pointed that. That's badass. That is badass.
and
But I'm
then
glad you held those up because you know what? I think it's super fucking cruel that we give little kids watercolor sets because that is some of the hardest shit to use. That is one of the hardest forms of art to learn is watercolor to me. It's tricky. And dude, I can think of so many times when I was a kid that I got those watercolor sets like that
yeah,
and I ruined them before I ever even got anything made. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do shit with them but make a mess
all the
and
colors come
waste
out
all the
black.
paint that was in the little tray, you know? Cold-blooded shit, man, to give little kids watercolors.
Oh no, man. I totally fucking agree with that, man. It's same boat, man. I'd grab them, fucking paint and water spillage everywhere. You know what I mean? Uh,
Right.
yeah, but watercolors are fun, dude. I fucking love them. If there's one advice that I could say is just keep practicing with watercolors. The the main thing with watercolors is that your control. Once you learn how to control the water and the color where you want it, that's it. It's done. You've kind of mastered it, right? Besides that, there's a
Right.
lot of drawing time in between. I think that's one of the reasons why I've never messed with oil for the same reasons you haven't messed with them and stuff, or you don't mess with them. I don't know if you have in the past, but
No, not at all. Not at all, dude. I got scared away from that shit by somebody that told me, somebody at the Art Institute a long time ago told me, yeah, if you laid that paint on super thick, it could stay wet up to like 2 years. And I was like, what?
whoa,
Fucking what?
yeah,
No,
no thanks,
no, I couldn't,
yeah,
I
no,
couldn't even, no way. I'm too impatient, you know, I'm
yeah,
too impatient. I like to keep things moving. I don't like camping out on artwork for a long time. I've always been just sort of a faster pace, crank it out, get it done type deal. I I hate leaves. I hate grass.
oh shit,
I hate things that take forever and there's like way too many of them in the picture. I will, and that's what I was saying earlier about you got your main subject to the picture and concentrating all your energy on getting it to look dead on right. But the background I'll get like loose and artsy with.
hmm
And that's mainly because you're you're paying me to paint the main focus of the
yeah,
picture.
exactly,
The rest could be there or not. And I'll ask people, do you want this to look exactly like the photograph as far as the background goes, or do you want just the person? Do you care if I get a little loose and free on the background? Because if you almost paint things in the background sort of blurry and out of focus, but the main subject clear, it gives you this really kick-ass look to things. So I did that a lot in a lot of my pictures over the years. And even still now on some, the background is not really the main focus of the picture.
Yeah, for sure.
So sometimes, now there's some pictures that I just totally went off on and you can see everything as far back as you can see in the picture, but I don't camp out on ones that much too often.
Got it. And let's see. Con artist says dry land is not a myth. He says control the water. He also says he literally mixed paints in his belly button. So yeah, you know, he's over here just mixing away. La, 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 la. And also we got a couple questions. We got a question actually from Con artist. It says he's asking, does Casey plan on doing any kind of collaborative work with any artists, or is that something? Let me see. There's more to it. Something he. Then it cuts off, or is that something he? And then it cuts off. You working on it?
Yeah,
Plans for?
yeah, I wouldn't mind one bit doing collaboration work. Haven't really thought about that before as far as, you know, I've kind of been locked here in my own little world over here in the East Texas woods, far away from everything else that's art, it feels at times. We do have lots of other artists around here, and we have quite a few little galleries popping up here and there around here. But for the most part, man, I sort of felt like I've been off on my own, doing my own thing for years. Like, I've just recently started messing with Instagram, and I think it's freaking awesome. All of the artists that are out there. I've been on Facebook. Shit, I came from MySpace, dude. I'm fucking old school.
Yeah.
You know
Man,
what I'm saying?
my
Right.
that's
So,
something I haven't heard in a while.
yeah. And so I feel like you didn't see all this involvement with artists on Facebook like this. There wasn't this network of artists working together like you see here on
Mhm.
Instagram. It's freaking great. And it's been just since checking out Instagram and seeing and meeting all of you guys that I've really gotten to see all of the digital stuff that everyone's doing. I
Mm.
mean, whenever I left the Art Institute, dude, I didn't want to see another freaking computer or mouse or anything electronic art related ever again. That was it. It was not me. It wasn't my thing. I'll stay the old timey guy with the paintbrush in his hand as far as that went, and I just decided that was going to be me.
Yeah, word.
But since I've gotten on here and saw all the digital work, not that I'm running out to buy a tablet. I've got one right over here, but it's not. It's just for it's just for me to use for my reference pictures. You
Oh,
know,
for sure, for sure.
but the digital artists really blow my mind on Instagram. There are so many amazing people out there,
Yeah,
and it's pretty humbling too.
yeah,
You know,
yes, yes, yes.
um,
Agree.
you're not the big dog anymore, and you ain't even running with the big dogs whenever you see all the shit that's out there.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
dude,
It's freaking amazing, but I love that.
no, for
I
sure.
love that.
And I gotta agree with the with everybody commenting. They're saying that Instagram brings artists together and there's a better community, and there is. This is one reason why I left Facebook and I came to Instagram. Um, just that, and Facebook's dead. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
and everyone's on that TikTok and doing all these TikTok dances and whatnot. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man.
Wait. We're not on TikTok right now?
Oh
No,
no,
I'm
no!
fucking
I,
with you.
I was I was about to start dancing and doing all of this. It's just like
Hell yeah.
shit.
Hell yeah. Dude, you're ready. You're ready. You're
There you go.
ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Practicing, practicing. There we go. Let's see. What we have one more question from Black Anime Art. Thanks again for asking. It says, "What is your least favorite part about art?" That's a great question.
Ooh, ooh, I can tell you. Okay, well, that's a pretty intricate question, really. My least favorite part about art. My least favorite part about art, not so much on a for me on working on things. My least favorite part about art is the fact that I feel like a lot of people get recognized and a lot of people do make the big checks when there's other people out there who have as much skill, if not more, than what
Mm.
I'm seeing those people paying those big bucks for. And it's a real unfair deal. That's one of my least favorite parts about art. No offense to anyone who does any certain style of art, but how in the fuck did Jackson Pollock get famous for being drunk and splattering paint on a canvas, dude? Seriously. I mean,
Dude.
I don't understand. I don't understand how people will pay ridiculous amounts of money for stuff like that and then argue with me about a picture of their grandma, you know?
Yeah. No,
You know what I'm saying?
you
Or,
know,
you know, I mean, um, it just, I don't know. That's just one part, you know.
yeah,
Art is art. I
yeah,
guess everything that's art is art, and I can appreciate all of it really, but it
yeah.
still doesn't make it fair on certain levels.
Yeah, no,
That
no, and I totally agree. I mean, for me, being an artist, I understand art is art. I understand art is subjective, and I honestly, I fucking hate it when people say that because, you know, there's a lot of people. I hate or I dislike. Let's put it that way. Hate is such a strong word, right? So I dislike people throwing fucking splashes of paint on it and selling it for thousands. I don't understand that one bit. You know what I
right?
mean? I don't. But art is art. So
Yeah. My son showed me the ultimate one day. He really knew it was going to piss me off so bad. So he comes and he's like, "Check this out, Dad," and he shows me. Now my son's like 24. He's like, "Check this out, Dad. Look at this. These people just paid over $1 million for a plain white canvas.
wow,
That was it. There was nothing on it. It was painted white. Fucking yay!"
dude, and it goes even crazier. There's a dude. I think this was last year or the year before, or maybe this year earlier. But there was a dude who sold an imaginary piece for $18,000. An imaginary piece for $18,000. He pretty much charged
Yeah,
the person $18,000 for them to use their imagination. Now,
it's like the Emperor's New Clothes, right?
but it's subjective. You know what I mean? Fuck out of here, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, one thing that I used to not like, as far as personally with art,
An artist says he'll
I
die
used to
broke.
not like to paint children, and I used to not like to paint women. I only liked to paint guys back in the day because it was too hard
Oh
to
my god.
get children to look good. And I would have somebody come up to me at work and be like, "Oh man, I want you to paint a picture of my old lady. Here's a picture of her. Check it out," and show me this photograph and be like, "Well, how much you charge me to do this?" And I'll be like, "I'm not going to paint it, dude. I'm sorry."
Yeah,
"Why
man.
not, man? She's freaking beautiful. Paint a picture of my old..." Okay,
Whoa.
well, you know, I know you love your wife and you think she's beautiful, and so I do not want to paint a picture that you're not going to think is as beautiful as your wife. You know what I'm saying? It's just a sensitive deal. You know what I'm saying? People, people would be like, "Oh, paint a picture of my grandbaby," and I'd be like, "No, I'm sorry, I won't do it." And why not? You paint all these pictures. I was like, "Well, you love your grandbaby, don't you?"
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
"Then I don't want to paint a picture." I mean, there's no bigger critic than a grandmother. You
Oh
know what
my
I'm
God.
saying? You got to get that baby dead on right. You know what I'm saying? I've always said there's only one or two missed brush strokes between a painting of a baby and a freaking alien.
Oh my
You
God.
accidentally miss a couple of strokes, dude, and you've got an alien and not a baby. They're all out of proportion.
Yeah.
You know, their bodies are not normal size. You know what I'm saying? Babies are a trick. So I've actually had to get past this block that I had that kept me from doing those, and it's taken some convincing and it's taken some years, and now I finally I'm pretty much open to paint whatever nowadays. I had a guy last night, and I really hate to say no to anybody about anything, but I
Mm.
had a guy contact me last night, and he's a repeat customer. He's someone I've done artwork for before, and he sent me this picture, and he's like, "Man, can you paint this picture of me and my buddy standing next to my race car that I'd had back in the day?" And he sends me the photo, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, this is a pretty cool ass picture. But then I take my fingers and I zoom in, and everything breaks up all pixelified and shit.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Do you have a better photograph? Because I can't zoom in on this and see any details. I don't know what your friend looks like. I can't paint your friend, you know,
Yeah.
without knowing exactly what he looks like. And so that's that's one of the things still that's a struggle is doing custom portraits for people and doing I would almost call them restoration pieces because you're taking an old photo and they
Mm.
want a better newer version of it, you know.
Yeah.
I've had people come to me that their pictures were water damaged and all kinds of other stuff, and they're like, "Man, could you paint this and fix it for me, or do me a new painting of it or whatever?" And it it's all depends on how much is still there intact for me to see, you know. Old school digital photography didn't zoom in clean like
Yeah.
4K and ultra high def
Exactly.
stuff does now, and
Exactly.
that also is a major difference in my artwork today versus the artwork that I did years ago is the fact that we can zoom in further on the photos and see details so
Mhm.
much clearer now. I love that shit.
No,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
back when I went to the Art Institute, man, we didn't even have cell phones and all of the the internet at that
There's no
wasn't even what it
magnifying.
is today. You know, you didn't have all the photographic references available to you that you have today. We used to have to collect magazines and look for photos in books or magazines of what subjects you were trying to work on. You know, fashion magazines you would collect from people. You'd collect tabloid type magazines if you were into doing pictures of celebrity type people or whatever. Nowadays, man, anything you can think of, you type that shit in the phone and there's 10,000 pictures of it. They're
Yeah.
available for you from every angle. And I love that. That's a blessing.
That is a
You
blessing.
know, that is a blessing.
No,
um,
yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I'm 36, about to be 36, and when I first started drawing, there weren't cell phones, there weren't, you know what I mean? That stuff like that. Oh man, you still there?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, there weren't cell phones and stuff like there is now, so I fully agree with that, man. Um, Now you say that you do a lot of commissions. Do we just DM you for commissions here on Instagram?
They could if they want to. Yes, absolutely. I'm open pretty much 24/7.
There you go.
You
Con
know,
artist is saying, "What are books?"
what are books, right?
Right,
Right.
right. What about as far as commissions? Saying since you are uh, since that is your forte there, what are some things that you could share as far as trying to get commissions or dealing with people?
Okay, well, as far as commission work goes, I I'm a people person.
Hmm.
I like to go places. I like to hang out and party with musicians and go to different things and everything and just talk to people, get to know people, be up front about the fact that you're an artist when you talk to people. Let them know that's what you do. There there's a lot of us out there, but it seems like there's not a whole lot of people who realize that we're there.
Hmm.
You know, it seems like every time we go somewhere, if I mention I'm an artist, somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you about getting a picture of blah blah blah." You know, and so as far as commissions go, man, I don't know.
All right. Well,
Hell, man, I'm
well,
I'm getting scatterbrained.
yeah, let's do it. Let's do another one. This is something that I always ask um, my artist guests who do commissions. Do you have any commission horror stories?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, give me the
I
worst,
got a
man.
pretty good one. Okay,
Let's hear
so
it.
I hang
Let's
out at
hear
this
it.
place up in Dallas. I ride motorcycles and stuff, so
All right.
you'll see on my stuff I do a lot of motorcycle art. Well, I had this guy who talked to me at a really popular place up in Dallas, and he's got this badass chopper, and he's like, "Man, I'd like you to do this picture of me and my wife on the bike." I'm like, "No problem." He sends me the picture. I look at the picture. I'm driving home at the time. I'm in my truck and I'm driving home and I look down at the picture and it's a badass picture. I'm like, no problem, dude. I could do this for, a couple of $100. So I get home, I sit down and I go to my computer and I print out the photo to put on my artboard to sit here and work from. And I actually look at the photo for the first time and then I pull it back up on my phone and I zoom in on it, and it's the same thing as what we were talking about before.
Oh no.
Everything's pixely and shit. By the time I zoomed in all the way, homeboy looked like a creeper from fucking Minecraft, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? So I
It's like a
I tell him,
creepy.
look, man, I've been working on the picture, but I'm really having trouble seeing y'all's faces clearly when I zoom in. So is there any way you could send me some pictures so that I could get a better image of y'all's faces to work on? He's like, sure. So next thing you know, pop, pop, all this stuff starts coming to my phone. I look down and the guy sent me like 9 fucking more pictures of the motorcycle. And I'm like, okay, I really needed to see y'all. And he's like, well, you're my friend on Facebook. Just go find a picture of me. And there's hundreds of her on the internet. And I'm like,
No.
thanks a lot, dude. So I go through the guy's pictures, find a photo of him. You know, that's the same thing with this other picture that from the other night. The guy tried to send me some more pictures to work from on the race car picture.
Hmm.
But people don't understand. If I work from photographs, you can't just send me any picture of you. I'm going to need you kind of look in the direction you were looking in that other picture. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I,
exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't know everything about your features, and so the guy sends me these pictures anyway, and I go through his Facebook page and I find a picture of him and I find a picture of his wife, and I had to look for several different ones till I found one that was at the right, facing the right direction. So I get it painted up. I deliver it up to him in Dallas.
Oh no.
Back then, I wasn't shipping pictures. I was delivering them by hand to people
Okay.
because I wasn't really sending things all over the country, just pretty much local as far as in within the state. And so I took it up to him. He liked it. He took it home. He calls me that night. And he's like, man, we got a problem.
Oh no.
I said, what's the problem? Well, she doesn't really feel like the picture looks like her. I said, well, it looks a lot more like her than it did in that other picture, I guarantee you, dude, because when you zoomed in on her in that other picture, it was a big fucking blob mess, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
He's like, well, he said, it's actually worse than that. He says, she said it kind of looks like my ex. I was like, oh, fuck. So not only did she think the picture didn't look like her, she thought it looked like his ex that he was with before.
Wow.
So I pulled up his Facebook and I'm like, well, this is her, right? And I sent him the picture that I'd worked from. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's her. That's the right one. I said, okay, good. He goes, but let me find you another picture of what she actually looks like. I'm like, no, motherfucker. That was a photo of her on Facebook. That is what she actually looked like in that picture. Don't tell me that just go pick any picture off the internet that there's hundreds out there and then go back and tell me that, oh, I picked the wrong one to work from.
Exactly.
No. So I ended up going back and forth with that.
Wow.
And I think I picked that picture up, redid it, took it back to him. You got to understand, too, another thing people don't get when you're doing these things, the picture was not quite as big as this one over here. Now, let me walk over there. This is a pretty big picture, right? But the picture was 2 foot by 2 foot. Now, even though the picture was 2 foot tall and 2 foot wide, it's a picture of them sitting on a motorcycle in the middle of a courtyard at a bar. Their faces were about the size of a quarter.
Oh, dang.
You know, because of all of the content in the picture, they were still small as far as everything that goes. And people don't understand, the smaller you're trying to do, the harder it is for me to get them to look exactly right. If I do something really big like that over there, you've got all the room in the world to get the features to look good. When you're trying to do something in a small area, it is a bitch, dude. It makes you go back and really appreciate that artist that painted things on the head of a pin that they got at the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. No, I get you, man. The reason I understand that is because a lot of people sometimes give me that same excuse for sketch cards, right? I mean, it's like we do a lot of fan art or pop art, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, the smaller you go, man, the crazier it is, especially with detail, with colors and stuff like that. Right. And it just, yeah, man. But I mean, that's where the mastery comes in, right?
Right. Now, see, that's another thing you run into also with the commissions when you're trying to price your artwork to people. They send you a photograph, and you look at the photo, and you're trying to decide what size would work best for this, for me, okay? Because, like I said, larger works easier than smaller. Some pictures, like the picture with the two guys in the race car that I was quoting last night to that guy. I told him, I was like, look, this picture, I don't know how big you were wanting this painting, but I would probably have to do this about 2 foot tall and almost 4 foot wide. Wow. Just to get you guys big enough that I can get your details to look like you in the picture. I said, if it's really small, it's hard to do. You know, people get under this impression that the size of the picture is going to determine the price. People are like, oh, can you do this painting for me? And I'll look at their photo. I was like, oh, yeah, that would make a really good one about 24 inches tall by 32 wide. No problem. I could do it for this much. You're like, well, what if we did it smaller? Could you do it cheaper? No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter what size the image is going to be. I'm still going to sit in front of that shit for the same amount of hours. I'm still going to beat myself up trying to get it to look exactly right for the same amount of time, whether it's huge or whether it's small.
Yeah.
The work that goes into it is exactly the same. It doesn't matter whether it's big or small. When I look at a picture and I tell you how much it's going to be to do that picture, it's based on how much of a pain in the ass I think that's going to be to do. You know what I'm saying? I
No,
mean, that's the truth. That's the
I,
God's honest truth, dude.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because,
The complexity of the piece. Yeah, of course.
some things you look at and you're like, oh yeah, that's going to be kick ass and awesome. And I can see that's going to be pretty easy. And you sit down and you just rock and roll through it. Then some of them you look at and you're like, oh my God, it's a fucking nightmare. I really don't even want to do that picture. But I'll tell you what, if I'm going to go ahead and do it, I'm going to do it for this much. And if they take it, they take it. If they want to do it bad enough that they're going to pay that much for it, then I'll do it. But the thing is, man, and my wife gets on me all the time about this, and she should, because like I said, I'm too soft. I'm too easy. You know, I feel sorry for people. I start beating down my own price before I even tell them what the price is going to be, based on what I think they would pay. And it's, you got to price this stuff fair for yourself. You're going to sit there and beat yourself up to get it right.
No, yeah.
People, when they ask you, it's almost like they think it's so easy for you to sit down. You're just coloring, right? You're just going to sit there and draw, right? Okay, yeah. But I'm going to sit here from the time I wake up in the morning all day, sometimes all night, sometimes for a week straight working on this. How much is a week of your time worth? Would you, and I'm talking about customers out there, when they're beating you down about a price on something, would they give you a week straight of their time, and how much would they charge you for it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, every other industry out there, dude, you wouldn't want to pay the price for an auto mechanic to work on your fucking car 24/7 for a week straight. That shit would break you. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
no.
saying?
No, dude, yeah. Of
But
course, man.
but when it comes to an artist, they just assume, well, you're just going to sit there and color anyway. You'll do this cheap, right?
Yep. Yep.
You got to quit. You got to stop. You got to quit giving your shit away for free. Quit giving your time away for free.
Yeah, they
Value yourself. Think about it the same as if you were going to work at your regular job. And how much would you make? How much do you have to make to pay your bills? That's how much you need to make doing artwork. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's not everybody can do this. There's a lot of people out there who can, but, go talk to them and see how much they would charge you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
guy that does artwork over at a place we used to be, and he charges $7,000 or $8,000 for his paintings. This guy may work on that painting for 6 months. I mean, I don't work on something that long. I crank my stuff out pretty fast, so I price it fairly. But then again, I have to keep a regular flow of pictures coming in to maintain my bills and what I need to pay. So it's not an easy grind. It's not an easy life to live as an artist, full-time artist. It's a constant hustle. It really is. But there's a lot of harder shit you could be doing out there.
No, we're,
Um,
now,
this
when it comes
this
to
weighs a lot less than a lot of other tools I've had to work with.
no, yeah, no, I totally get that, man. Uh, what is one of the biggest lessons that you learned, man, or that you could share?
Whew. Damn. You got to hit me with some kind of Barbara Walters type question and shit. Throwing these stumpers at me.
Oh
Oh
no.
man, I don't know. I take things personal. I
Mm.
take things really personal, you know. So the hardest lesson that I've had to learn was painting portraits of pictures of people. Um, some people aren't ready to see what you're going to put out.
Oh, okay.
I had a lady, I had a lady who wanted a painting done of her son, and he died when he was 16 years old. And the picture that I was sent to paint from was the very last selfie he ever took on his phone.
Wow.
I painted this picture, and I paint in acrylic and I paint with a paintbrush, so there's strokes to it. There's brush strokes. There's bold colors going here and there. And whenever I finished the artwork, and I spent a lot of time on it, and I thought it looked good, it, it broke the lady's heart when she looked at it. She felt like he looked older because of the brush strokes made the effect of wrinkles and lines. And
Oh
she couldn't
man.
even stand to look at the picture.
Yeah,
She
that.
couldn't even stand to look at the picture. She didn't even want to see it in person. I took the picture, I brought it back, I redid it again. I tried to smoothen it out as much as I could, soften up all the features, really try to get it to look more accurate, I would say. I spent a lot of time on it, and she didn't want to see it. She didn't even want to see it after that.
Mm.
So I still, to this day, have that picture. Um, it's put up somewhere. It's not out on display. It's wasn't my, and that's one of those things too. It wasn't mine. It never was mine. That image never belonged to me. But at the same time, I've never been able to paint over it. And what do you do with it? What do you do with something like that when you've done it? I've kept it put up in a safe place, and who knows? Maybe one day that lady may contact back and want a second chance at looking at it, and maybe she might want it.
Yeah.
But I've just kept it. I've just kept it. It's just one of those things. You put all of yourself into your artwork. You you sink all of your time and all of your effort into stuff, and you're not always going to make everybody happy. That's
Mhm.
a hard lesson right there, you know. And sometimes people just aren't ready for it, you know. So it may not be anything that you've done wrong. It may be something that they still need to deal with to move forward from. But and then other times it's going to be some people you just can't satisfy. Not that person. I'm not talking about that person at all. I'm saying there's some people out there that will nitpick and criticize everything,
Mhm.
and they just never seem to be happy with anything. And I haven't really ran into more than one of those people, it seems, but that's just the truth of it. You're not always, everybody's not always going to dig your shit. Your stuff, your style isn't always going to apply to the shows. You know, um, there's a lot of galleries around, and it's hard. It's hard to walk into a gallery and sell yourself to people sometimes. I had this inferiority complex where I didn't feel like I was good enough and I didn't belong, that I wasn't high class enough, you know.
Mhm.
So there's certain galleries around that I've never taken my things to still because I just don't feel like I belong in that setting. It's just not my deal. Um,
Gotcha.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's a tough life, man. It's a
No,
tough
no,
life.
I
It really is.
totally hear that, man. Um, Well, let's keep moving on, man. Um, there's I usually do this at the beginning, but let's go ahead and just do it now for shits and giggles, man. I call it the favorites game, right? Ask you a bunch of questions, you let me know what your favorite is, right? It's that
All
simple.
right, go for it.
Uh, and let's start with food. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? I actually am a junkie for sushi.
Sushi.
Surprisingly, I never really, I've always loved seafood, but I wasn't really a big fan of sushi. But my wife Rachel got me to go to this place and try some other stuff, and I really liked it. It was different, and now I'm like a hardcore junkie. I can't get enough of it, man.
Damn, like that, huh? Favorite music?
Wow. Well, I'm a product of the 90s, so grunge music was my music. And seen on my page that I've painted damn near every one of the lead singers from all of the grunge bands because they're all dead and gone now. That
Oh
every one
no.
of them committed suicide or OD'd or whatever. Eddie Vedder is the last one left of all the 90s grunge bands.
Oh dang. Let's see. Favorite car?
Favorite car? That's a tough one. I've had a lot of cars in my lifetime. I've had almost as many cars as the schools I went to.
Okay.
Um, a lot of them were pieces of shit. Don't let me sound like I'm bragging, but but there were a couple that I've had over the years that were pretty badass. And BMWs, man, BMWs handle like a fucking roller coaster locked on tracks.
Nice.
You can come to a turn and just downshift and punch it and dive into the turn, and that shit will dip and dive into the turn and just hang onto the road and go. I had one 20 years ago almost, and it was to me one of the funnest vehicles I've ever driven. Um, Now, I did get to drive a Ferrari on the racetrack at Las Vegas Motor Speedway about 5 years ago. Went out to Vegas, um, went to a place called Dream Racing, which they do that at different tracks around the country. Dream Racing, where you can go pay to to drive a race car,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. I think they have that in Illinois.
so yeah, so I paid $600 to get to drive a Ferrari race car 3 laps around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway on their road course,
Man, pedal to the metal,
and
man.
that shit was badass. You had a professional race car driver in the passenger seat
That's cool.
directing you and kind of advising you on where, when to gas it and when to brake and stuff like that. So
Black Anime says
if
his
I
favorite
had
car is the
unlimited money, Ferrari would be it, man.
Ferrari. All right. Good answers. I like them. Black Anime says his favorite car is one that is paid for. Yes.
Right.
Agree. Agree. Agree.
Yes.
And Mary, she said 67 GTO. Man. Ooh, some muscle,
Hell
man.
yeah.
Let's see. Are you into? I know you are, and you deal with uh, like portraits and realism. Uh, are you into comic books, Casey?
I really haven't been educated in comic books or man, some of the guys that I went to school with at the Art Institute, they were comic book artists, and I've always admired the comic book artists. Their knowledge of the human anatomy and their ability to throw down right out of their head is it blows my mind. I mean, I can draw. I can draw pretty much anything that you
Yeah,
ask me to draw. But these guys that do comic books, they're
nice.
freaking amazing.
Nice.
I I've sat and watched Eddie. Eddie draws it.
Yeah, he's really good. I
That
dig his
dude.
work.
I sat and
Hmm.
watched that guy drawing multiple faces over and over again, looking different directions at different angles. I've never I've never been able to, I've never even attempted to sit and draw a character repeatedly in different poses, different emotions. That shit blows my mind still. I mean, that dude, those, those guys, they are badass, and that, you know,
Yeah, for sure, man.
like I said, you can sit. I believe that anybody can learn anything that they devote enough of their time to, and commit themselves to practice over and over again. You're going to learn things, except for tightrope walking. That shit belongs to those people. Them tightrope walkers, that's a whole nother breed of person. But I've never been able to sit and do the comic
Yeah.
book style art to the level that these people do. Man, it's amazing.
What about
I admire them very much.
favorite artists? They could be living or deceased. Doesn't matter, man. Just your favorite artist.
Well, it's funny. In the beginning, one of my early inspirations was Andy Warhol.
Mm.
I liked, but the older I got, I think the more I realized that it was the lifestyle of Andy Warhol and hanging out and partying with the rock stars and the celebrities that I was attracted to, probably more than the art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm I'm still that person today. I try to surround myself or try to be in the presence of musicians a lot. I believe music and art, they go hand in hand, and music has always inspired my art. I love. I've never been able to play a musical instrument. That's another thing too, man. I really admire musicians. I can't play a fucking thing. I can barely play the radio. That's it, man.
Bro,
Um,
you and I both, man. I got a younger brother. He played drums, guitar, fucking you name it, man. I no, I give me the triangle and let me be, right?
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've done a lot of pictures of musicians over the years, and I've given some of my artwork to certain musicians over the years as gifts because it's sharing back with them what they're sharing with you. They share and play their music. They share their art that way, and so I was sharing back with them by painting a picture of them and giving it to them.
Got it.
Um,
Favorite. Actually, do you believe in ghosts?
yes,
Okay.
yes and no, yes and no. I'm pretty out there on a lot of things, man. I'm very open-minded to a lot.
Mm.
You know? I'm open-minded to a lot because we're told a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Some of them may be bullshit, some of them may be true, and
Oh yeah.
so I'm very open-minded to what I believe in.
Mm.
Hell, you can't argue with evidence, right? So
Right, right.
um,
What about
some
UFOs?
things you can't explain. UFOs, yeah, I believe. Here's the thing, man,
Here we
and I'm
go.
not trying to get off on religion or politics on you, but I think it's very narrow-minded of people to think that we're the only thing.
Mm.
Okay? The Bible says we were made in God's image. That's pretty freaking arrogant in my mind to think that we were the best he could do and he just quit with us. You know what I'm saying? We got
That's
this
funny.
universe with all this shit that we can't even reach in multiple lifetimes out there. Do you not think that maybe he might have gotten bored one day and said, well, you know, these things keep getting sick. I'll make one that doesn't get sick,
Yeah.
or this, or ones that can do this or that. So I believe that there's got to be other things out there. There just has to be other things out there. And I do believe in God, but I believe that God is bigger than we can fathom. That
Hmm.
it's all bigger than we can fathom. Why can't it all be a part of the plan? That's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Got it. Have you ever seen one or the other, either ghosts or UFOs?
Yeah, I can't really. I've seen things I can't explain. You know,
Oh,
things happen. Things happen that you can't really pinpoint. I mean, hell, I'm living in a house right now that's probably haunted because the guy that lived here before me passed away in the
oh
house,
no.
and I've kept this sign that he had that had his name on it outside, and just like with that picture of that kid that I can't do anything with and don't know what to do with, I moved into this guy's property and he lived here. You know, I bought this place 5 years ago, and that man lived here no telling how long. This was actually his workshop. He collected antique cars and he worked on old cars and stuff. And he had a sign out front hanging on a post that said Barton, which was his name, Mr. Barton. And so I kept the sign, and it hangs over my work area outside on my workshop where I make my frames and stuff. There's a little sign on the wall that says Burton, and I hang on to it. I believe, I believe he's around, and I believe he's happy with what he sees going on here. I believe bad shit happens, and you start seeing these negative spirits when things are going on that shouldn't be going on in places that these spirits held sacred before, you know?
Yeah. Um. Are you a Simpsons fan?
Oh yeah.
Favorite episode?
Favorite episode. Wow, that's a hard one too. Um, I was a big fan of Sideshow Bob,
Ah,
dude.
yes. Yes. Sideshow
I
Bob.
I just saw a kid. I just saw a kid at the gas station earlier today when Henry and Rachel got back from going to take Stormy up to her grandma's. And I like lean over to my wife and I'm like, babe, look, it's fucking Sideshow Bob just walked out the fucking store. This kid, this kid had curly hair, and I understand, dude, because believe me, I've grown this shit out for like 5 years, ever
Yeah.
since my dad passed away. The in between stages of me growing my hair out is totally fucking uncontrollable shit. So I know what that kid was dealing with.
Oh hell
But
no.
this kid, he had curls, dude, that just, they were beautiful curls, but man, it was like an explosion on top of his head, and it looked like Sideshow Bob, and I couldn't help it, dude. I just had to call it.
Hell yeah. Anything with Sideshow Bob. I like that. I
Hell
and
yeah.
last of the questions, man. Your favorite color and three reasons for liking that color.
Black.
Mm.
I like black.
Why black?
Black for I like black for clothing. I like black for the shading and the, you know, when when I'm working on a picture, they seem to. I like a certain lighting in the photos that I'm going to
Mhm.
paint from. I'm kind of picky about which pictures I choose. I like the darks to be super dark and the
Okay.
brights to be super bright. Those translate over to a painting best. Um, so I like black. I like black and white pictures. I like doing black and white stuff too. I don't know. When it comes to black clothes, you know, black's always going to work. It's always going to work. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It goes with everything, right?
Yeah, that wasn't three reasons, but I'm struggling here.
I'll take it. I'll take them. I'll take them, man. And
Except for black vehicles, I've owned a shitload of black vehicles, including my current motorcycle. Black vehicles are a fucking nightmare, especially if you live in Texas, where it's like 1,000 degrees with
oh man, yeah.
300% humidity. You can fry an egg on top of your car most days, and a black vehicle will look dirty the second you're done cleaning it. It's the hardest color in the world. And same with the pictures too. It's hard to get your blacks to look truly black. It takes hell. I just did a painting of a guy the other day, and it's got a solid black background on it. And I think I did that background about 5 times,
Man.
and it could still be blacker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Black is hard.
Well, that's yeah, man. And I think that kind of brings us to the end of the interview, man. I mean, is there anything else that I might have missed that you wanted to touch on, or if anybody else has any questions, please feel free to answer now. Um, Earlier today I was asking you about comics. You weren't really into that there, but Vinny had a question too. Hey, what up, Psycho? How you doing? And Vinny was asking who your favorite female superhero in comics is.
Well, now, as far as comics go, I'm a big movie fan. So, I believe that one of my favorites would be Rogue.
Ah, yeah, X-Men.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I liked that she could absorb other people's powers.
Oh yeah,
I mean, if you can do that, you pretty much universal. You know what I'm saying?
there you go. Now you're thinking outside the box. I like that. I dig that. And yeah, man. I mean, besides that, man. I mean, there's a tons more questions I could ask, but I want to save those for next time. Because I want to bring you back, man. I enjoyed the interview. We still got to get into that bear you have, man. I want to know what's going on with that.
Yeah, right.
But we will
The
definitely, yeah, man, we will definitely say that for the next time, bro, because time is just not in our favor here
right.
tonight. Cool, man.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, man. And sorry, I get a little scatterbrained as
Dude,
far as trying to keep on subject topics.
and,
Um,
and I dig that, man. I rather take anybody who could chat it up with me than those crickets, right? So
right.
so yeah, awesome, dude. I enjoy the interview, man. I enjoy the time. Thank you again, Casey, man, for the time, brother, man. Highly appreciate that.
No problem.
You, my friend,
And
are a
thank you.
champ.
Oh, wait, wait, wait,
Yes,
wait.
sir. Yes,
I
sir.
do have one thing that we've got to talk about.
Let's do it.
We have an issue. We have a problem, actually. All the artwork that you sent me, I've got them hanging
no.
on the
What
wall over
happened?
there. All the pictures that you sent me, I
Yeah.
framed them and I have them hanging on the wall over there. My 10-year-old daughter walked over there and she was like, "Oh, look at this one." She said, "Hold on, I'll be right back."
Uh-oh. Now I wanna know.
She said, "This one's Rainbow Dash." I was like, "Oh, yeah?"
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She's looking at it and she goes, "It's Rainbow Dash, it's Rainbow Dash." That's her favorite. And then, if ever my 10-year-old had ever come so close to saying, "What the fuck," is when she realized that bear had snapped the horn off a Rainbow Dash.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad
So
she
she's
noticed.
like, "You got to talk to that guy about that picture."
And it's
I think it's freaking awesome. She thinks it's awesome.
uh, uh,
But
A fun fact behind that, man. When I drew that, my daughter was really big into My Little Pony things, right? So I had
Right?
created this bear, and I'm like, hey, what better way to make fun of her, than put my character snapping the hell off that horn off one of those My Little Ponies, right? So that's how I was born, man.
Hell yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah, she took that shit personal a little bit
oh,
there for a minute, but I think she's
oh,
gotten over it now. But
oh man,
yeah, the,
tell her I'm
the
sorry about
book
that.
was left here so that I wouldn't forget.
Oh my god. Well, tell her I'm happy she enjoyed that, and yeah, man, tell her if she wants something
Yeah,
else, I can get her on anything.
she's sporting the Zim Zima pins on her backpack for school now.
Yes, I
Hell
love it.
yeah.
I love it. He's like, hey, this guy drew my favorite pony broken.
Right.
So, yeah, yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah, man.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on the show.
And thanks
And
again, man. Just really
hopefully
quick
my
before you go, Casey, where can we reach you besides the Instagram and the ckwilliamsart.com?
um, well, you can reach me on my personal Facebook page, Casey Keith Williams, and there's also a CK Williams Art Facebook page, and I've been on that for years. I've got a lot more time involved in that, so there's hundreds of my paintings on there. At 27 years of doing this, man, I've done over 2,000 pictures. Um, Back here on the wall, there's all of those pictures back there that you see, the little bitty tiny photographs up there on the wall. Those are all of the commission work and all of the pictures that just Rachel and I have done since we've been together in the last 4 years. And there's over like 300 of those that we've done, just her and I together.
Nice.
Um, Rachel is also a very badass artist. She does a lot more stuff than I do, actually. She dabbles in resin. She makes jewelry. She does all kinds of things too. So you can
Yeah,
find her at the Black Velvet Butterfly on Instagram and on Facebook also,
right.
and check her stuff out because this stuff is really cool too. So
All right. So Black Velvet Butterfly,
yeah,
IG and Facebook. Got it. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So that was it. That was it, Casey. Thank you very much, man. Once again, I appreciate you for your time, my friend.
cool. Thank you very much, man.
Wifey shout out. That's right. That's right. Mayfist. That's right, Mary. Wifey shout out. Yeah, and definitely give her a follow. Make sure you guys are giving Keith a follow. Make sure you guys are following him here, CK Williams Art, not just here, but also on Facebook under the same name, or find him on Facebook at Casey Keith Williams. Make sure you guys check out ckwilliamsart.com for all your art needs. And of course, make sure you guys are checking out Black Velvet Butterfly here on the gram and, of course, the Facebook. I want to thank you again, Keith. Thank you very much, man. And we got to do this again, bro. For real. So,
So yeah, yeah. I've actually got lots of crazy ass stories about things that have happened over the years, art related.
oh,
People that
dude.
I've ended up meeting, and I've just been in the right place at the right time a lot of times, and it's pretty crazy the doors that have been opened through art, man, for
Mm-hmm.
me. I've got a lot of really interesting stories about things, so we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, we do.
And
We definitely do.
hopefully my Sling Blade internet will fucking hold up for us to do it.
Blade Internet. Hell yeah, I like that.
Hell yeah.
And that's it, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for coming in, supporting the show. Please go follow CK. Follow Mr. Casey and, of course, Black Velvet Butterfly. Once again, make sure you guys are checking out Chatting with Zim. We got the whole entire archive on the YouTubes. So make sure you guys subscribe, even if you're not following, just subscribe, right? It'll help me out. On top of that, make sure you guys are checking out Live with Seven. That's the homie. Shout out. And of course, we got Dead and Laughing. That makes the trifecta here in Monsters Art Clan. What is Monsters Art Clan? Check out the gram to find out. That's pretty much me and a collaborative of a bunch of other artists. So we got a bunch of cool stuff going on. We recently had that dollar art. How do you? I know CK's liking that dollar art out there. So we had that going on, guys. And next week we got Tropics art. So we got Ernest coming on the show. That'll be the July 18th. So Tropics art. Get ready for that. And once again, Casey, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. You
Above
have a
every,
good night, man. Thank you.
thanks, brother. You do the same. Say hi to the fam. And on top of that, guys, just
All right, man.
there you go, brother. Thank you again, bro. Make sure you guys
All
are
right.
following. Make sure you guys come here next week. This is episode 110. I'm your host, The Real Zimzima. You guys have been on Chatting with Zim with CK Williams Art. Till the next time, guys, keep creating, keep loving one another. Stay positive and trust the process, right? I'm out. Peace.